If today was your last day, would you be living the way you're living right now? Because when I asked myself, my answer was no. If today was my last day, I will stop overthinking and doubting myself. I will actually tell the people I love that I love them in the moment, not assuming they already know. Remember, it's my last day. I will put my phone down more when I'm with my family and friends and enjoy every moment. Actually be there, not half there. I will spend more real time with my family instead of being busy all the time. And I will stop filling my day with things that don't really matter. I would have more fun, travel more, do the things that excite me. I wouldn't keep living inside all the I should and one day I will. And there are also things I just wouldn't put up with anymore. For sure, I will say no faster instead of going along with things that I don't care about. I would stop people pleasing to be liked. And I will stop keeping people in my life when I know I've already outgrown these relationships. And I wouldn't keep trying to fix everything or make everyone happy. That's really tiring. So what really stood out to me is this. I already know what those things are. And if you're being honest with yourself, you know too. Now the real question is, why are we still waiting? If this is hitting you, go listen to this week's episode. Episode number 103, if today was your last day, what would you finally say, do, and change? I will see you there. This podcast is for the soul who knows there is more, the one who's been carrying it all for far too long. If you're ready to let go of old stories, to stop replaying the past and start living from your truth, you're in the right place. This is your moment to release the noise and reconnect to what's real. Welcome to Baggage Begun, Healing Hearts and Minds. I'm Tami Mahmali. What if today was your last day? Would you keep living the same way you are right now? Would you still hold back in conversation that really matter to you? Would you stay silent because you don't want to be judged or, steer the path? Would you still delay decisions that you already know you need to make because you are afraid of the unknown or you're worried about what other people will say or think about you? Would you still be around people, places, and things that are draining you, sucking the energy out of you? Would you still stay in the same job you don't like? Would you stay in the same relationships? Or would you finally deal with that? Because you don't have time, right? You will let go of whatever you can stand faster. Do what is right for you at work, relationship, because now it actually matters. Remember, it is your last day. So if it is your last day, you want to do the things that you love, what really matter to you, because now time is precious, right? So let me tell you why I am bringing it up right now. I started asking myself this question over the past few weeks after someone I had known for over 20 years passed away from colon cancer. He was a role model, a selfless person who really helped others, a husband, a father of 3, a successful professional, and someone I truly respected. I remember the few times we spoke, every conversation with him left me feeling fuller, more empowered, clearer and lighter, and I realized that no matter who he spoke to, he added value. Simply by being himself, he was congruent. He was living his essence. And when I heard that he passed, I felt that the world had lost one of its wise, grounding presence. It was a reminder of something we all know, but don't actually live by. That life is not guaranteed. Life is short. As Steve Jobs said, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. And yet, I will say this, most people do. And if I am not mindful, I can fall into that as well. We take our lives, our relationships, and even the people and places around us for granted. Most people don't take the time to recognize their own abilities, their own gifts, and what they are truly capable of creating. So, do you know why you are here? What am I here to do? What actually matters to you? What is worth your time, your energy, and your life? Because if you don't really take the time to define that for yourself, you will end up living based on your habits, what the society tells you to do, the pressure or expectations of others. And here is something else that needs to be said. Many people don't move forward, not because they don't want more, but because they don't know what they want and they don't feel worthy of it. They don't believe it can happen for them. They don't believe they deserve it. So instead of exploring their potential, first of all, knowing their potential, they stay where they are. They go to work every day already knowing how the day will end. There is no excitement, no growth, no sense of expansion. And when you live like that long enough, it starts to affect you mentally, emotionally, and physically. There is a research that shows that more heart attacks happen on Monday morning between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. And that's not because of the day itself, but because of the stress, pressure, and disconnection people feel as they return to their lives on Monday. They don't align with who they are. And this is why this episode matters. Because if you continue to ignore what you feel, your essence, and you continue to delay what you already know, your life will not really going to expand. As I said before, most people don't pursue their vision because they think they don't know what to do. But often that's not true. They don't explore because at a deeper level in their subconscious mind, they have rooted belief, deep belief, that they don't believe it's possible for them. Their dream and vision seem like far away. They will never be able to achieve them. And if you don't believe something is possible for you, you will not take actions toward that. And that is exactly why courage matters. Because at some point, you have to move beyond what feels familiar and step into something that is actually aligned with who you are right now, no matter how you feel and what you think about yourself. What I often see in my practice is this, and it's really interesting to see capable, successful people still believing that. People say, I feel stuck, I can't figure it out. It seems like they cannot move forward, whatever the situation is. If it's business, relationships, their home situation, their children. But when we really look at it in a deep level, they're not stuck. They're resisting their growth, the next level. Somewhere in their subconscious mind, there is dissonance between who they are today and the messages that they are not deserving of their dreams and goals, that the messages are from the past. And therefore, they are avoiding receiving more today. They are avoiding the lessons and the messages. More simply, they're avoiding something they already know they need to do because their system running with old programming that are not serving them anymore. And instead of dealing with that, they wait on living, and they live as if they are already dead, unfortunately. And that waiting causes their energy to stagnate. It keeps them frozen, stuck in the same place. Then we start to feel like we are living as prisoners in open cages. Cages that without awareness, we have built ourselves to our attachments, patterns, beliefs that are no longer serving us. So if you feel stuck, move. After all, you're not a tree. If something is not working, you have the ability to choose differently and create change right now. If someone told you that you had a few months to live, you would not keep living the way you are living right now. And that's the question I ask myself. You would stop making excuses. You will stop procrastinating. You will stop avoiding uncomfortable conversation situations and the things you are afraid to face. You will say what needs to be said. You would make the decision no matter how uncomfortable they are. You will stop waiting for the right time when you are finally rich, thinner, prettier, I don't know, feeling better or whatever else you have been telling yourself, and you will get things done, promise you. Why? Because suddenly you understand something most people ignore. Time is limited. Our time on this planet is not unlimited. Every moment is precious. Life is short. And what happens over time is this. Life starts forcing the change. Sometimes it shows up as physical symptom. If you wait, when you sit in I should, could, would, and feel like you miss opportunities because you listen to that old voice in your head, the one coming from the past, this is the moment you need to pay attention. And what happens over time is this. Life starts forcing the change, meaning you will have turning points. Sometimes the turning point shows up as physical ailments. Sometimes as breakups, divorces, heartbreaks, losing job, accidents, illness. And it's as if life saying, if you want to choose the change, I will create the condition that force it. And you don't want to wait for it because it's painful. Because ignoring what needs to change is like keeping 100 tabs open in your brain. You're still functioning, but everything is slower, scattered, and eventually something crashes. The system will not work. Welcome to Baggage Vegan Healing Hearts and Minds. I am so excited. I'm Tami Mahmali, and this is where we let go of mental and emotional baggage at the root so you can live with clarity, confidence, and feel the real inner peace. Thank you again for being here. I truly appreciate you. This podcast will not happen without you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for following. If this episode speaks to you, please follow, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs this message. This episode is for you if you know you're holding back in your own life. If you are not truly expressing yourself, your gifts, and not using the gifts you know you have. This episode will guide you to stop delaying what is really clear and start living in a way that it actually excites you and reflects who you are right now. This episode is not about that. It's about the gap between the life you're living and the life you're capable of living, and how unresolved emotional patterns, attachment stories, basically mental and emotional baggage, are keeping you from stepping into who you're meant to be. So let's go straight to it. What I see very often is that people are not living their life in the way that serves them. They are repeating the old patterns. They repeat the same reactions, the same patterns, the same internal conversations, and especially the same hesitation, stagnation at the exact moment when something needs to change. Over time, they start calling that feeling being stuck. But it's not being stuck. It's a pattern that keeps repeating. That's the loop we're talking about. When you say I'm in a loop, that's the loop. Most people already know where in their life they need to be more honest and move forward, more direct or more courageous. You can feel it. The energy shows you, direct you there. It shows up in specific moments when you don't say what you actually think, when you delay decisions, when you stay the same, when you need to move forward, change the job, relationship. And you feel like you're confused, but that's not confusion. That is the moment where courage is required. You need to move, make the action, make the call. But instead of acting those moments, people return to the same pattern because they're comfortable. They think about it again, analyze it, ask others, what's right for me? Meanwhile, they know the answers. And as a result, nothing changes because you're not moving. You know why? They don't take the action. Because they're afraid. Fear plays a role there. The issue is not lack of clarity. The issue is not because you don't know. The issue is that your system is not yet comfortable with the version of you who would be when you take the new action. The successful you, the powerful you. You're afraid of your own power. That's why you get hurt. That's why you can't move forward. That's why you feel stuck. That will open you to new possibilities. You stepping out of the familiar will move mountains for you. From a neurological perspective, this makes sense. Research, including the work of Joseph Ledoux, shows that our brain prioritize safety and familiarities. That's why you do the same thing, even if it's painful. So when an action requires courage, speaking up, making a decision, choosing differently, your system evaluates it based on whatever it feels safe, not whatever it is right. So your system goes to the bank of memory of what you did before and it taps into the past. And whatever you do feels familiar. That's why if it doesn't feel safe, you hesitate. I encourage you to be courageous and be fearful and still do that. Be uncomfortable and still do it. Think, that's my last day. What would you do? So that's why I encourage you, even when you know what to do and you feel like you have to do the same thing like before, come out of the loop. And when you take the action, the shift will happen. Remember, courage is not something you wait to feel. Courage is something you apply in the moment. Do right now, even when there is discomfort, even when you're not ready. And this is what I did most of my life. I was uncomfortable. I used to have these panic attacks, and I still run my workshop. I used to shake when I was talking, and I will still do it. I used to stutter and still show up and do what I need to do. You don't wait until everything feels right and certain. You take the step while part of you is still unsure, not know. You speak, even if it's not comfortable, even if it's not perfect. You show up. You make the decision, even if you don't know what to do. Because if you keep waiting until you feel ready, you will continue to repeat the same version of your life and you will not move forward. So instead of asking yourself, what should I do? Because you already know, ask yourself, am I willing to step out of this pattern, even if it feels uncomfortable? And think, if it was my last day on earth, would I do it? I bet you will run and do it. And that is where real change begins. This is where I want to bring in something important, because without understanding this, we tend to judge ourselves instead of actually understanding what is happening inside our mind. Modern neuroscience, including the work of Bruce Lipton and Joseph Leduc, shows that large part of our behavior is driven by our subconscious programming that was formed earlier in life, meaning when you were a child. What this means in practical terms is that your system is not designed to help you become your highest self or reach your full potential. Your system's primary role is to keep you safe based on what your system already experienced. So when you're faced with something new, something that requires you to step forward, speak up, do something that unfamiliar, make decisions or move into the unknown, your system does not evaluate it based on whether it is something that moves you forward or may help you to grow. It's evaluated based on past experience. It says, have I been hurt before? Let me check. When I did that last time, did I get hurt? Did I get rejected? Was I uncomfortable? Did I hurt before? Did someone make fun of me? And if the answer is yes, your system will think the situation has a potential risk. So instead of moving forward, it sends a signal to slow down, hesitate, to avoid. Don't do that, don't do that. Last time you went and approached this girl or this boy, people made fun of you. They say no to you, so don't do it now. Or last time I applied to this job, didn't answer back. Oh, I was so uncomfortable. In simple terms, it says, your system might say, this might not be safe, stay with what is familiar, don't do that, don't do that. This is why you hesitate today. When new opportunities come up, even when you consciously want them so badly, there may be an internal program running that says, the last time I tried something new, it didn't feel safe. Let's not go there again. This is why you overthink decisions. This is why you stay longer in places, situations that are not good for you. Not because you're weak or incapable, but because your system is doing exactly what it's designed to do. It's protecting you. And that strategy worked before. It helped you before. But that's today not protecting. It's a limiting belief today. And I encourage you to let go and be courageous and take new actions, because now you're still operating from that stagnation and it's not helping you. And there is the cost that every time you delay, every time you avoid, you're not creating something new and it's keeping you stuck. Before we move forward, I want you to take this seriously and not just listen and move on. I want you to pause and really reflect on your life, not in general way, but in a very specific and honest way. Not when you feel more ready. I want you to write your vision. I did that today also. Before I record, I'm not waiting, and I wrote my goals for 2026, 2027 for what I want, because if you know your direction, I encourage you today to jump, to take the leap and not wait. Don't wait to feel more ready, not to feel more calm down, and not when everything feels perfect. Today is the day. I want you to identify one thing. If you cannot write your vision, one thing you've been delaying. If you want to, I don't know what you want to do. If you want to move forward and get married, start making calls. If you want a job that you want, go and learn what you need to learn to get the job or the practice that you want to do. If you want to open your business, make a research and make the calls and open the business. Don't wait. You can start with one idea that you want to do, something that is already clear to you, even if you have been pushing it aside. Today's the day. It might be a conversation you know you need to have, a decision you have been postponing, or a situation in your life that you know is no longer right for you. If this relationship is not for you, just come out. If this job is not for you, go, move. But you have to really face it. Once you identify what you want to do, I want you to take a moment and acknowledge what is actually holding you back. In most cases, you're not confused. It is your fear. So instead of avoiding your fear, I want you to look at it directly. When you look at your fear and ask yourself honestly, what am I afraid will happen if I do this? Most of our fears are false. False evidence appear real. It's BS. And when you look your fear in the eye, it's evaporate. Make fun of your fear. I make fun of my fears. Most of my fears, people will not show up. People will make fun of me. No one wants me. And it's false evidence appearing real. Let yourself answer whatever is your fear without filters. Don't filter anything. And then ask yourself second question. If that fear happened, would I actually be able to handle it? Because very often what we fear feels much bigger in our mind than it is in reality. Promise you, everything I was afraid of and I didn't do for many years, when I actually faced was piece of cake. Not really piece of cake, but easier done than not done. I don't want you to die with your song in your heart. I don't want you to die not performing, not painting, not singing, not speaking, not having the love of your life, not traveling, holding what you want to do in your heart. I encourage you today to step out of the box and do all the things that you always wanted to do. And if you do it, whenever you do it, please contact me and let me know that you did it. I'm your cheerleader. No one will be more happy than me to hear, to see, to witness your success. There is nothing that makes me more happy when a client tells me, you're not going to believe. I feel happier. I feel safer. I feel joy. I feel my heart open. I can love again. I opened my business. I got married. I have the child. I wrote the song. I started painting. Nothing makes me more happy than that. So instead of imagining what could go wrong, imagine what happens if you actually do take the action that you always wanted to take. Imagine that you say what needs to be said, that you make the decision, that you move forward. Pay attention to how that would feel in your body. Most people, when they really allow themselves to go there, they feel a sense of relief. They have clarity and lightness because they understand that it's not a big deal to do that. And then they feel more aligned, more in control, and more like themselves, as if they stepped into the person that they always wanted to be. That's the state that you actually want to be in order to move forward, even if your mind is trying to keep you in the same place. From there, I want you to act. Take one more action. If you need an ally, if you need someone, a cheerleader, contact me. And it doesn't need to be perfect. And you don't need to do everything at once. You can do one step. Write a text. Send it. Call the person. And not in a way that feels forced. Just take one clear step. Say what needs to be said. Make the decision or begin the process, because this is where most people misunderstand how change works. They believe that clarity needs to come first and then they will act. But in reality, clarity is created through action. Take one action that will lead to the next action. When you move, even in small ways, the universe helps you to move forward. You begin to interrupt the pattern. You give your system new evidence that is safe for you to move forward. And that starts to change how you think, how you respond, and how you show up. The people, places, and things will happen to you. This is not just about completing a task. This is about changing the way you operate in your life, changing the energy. It is about showing yourself that you are no longer waiting, you're capable, no longer delaying, and no longer staying in the same cycle. And I want to be very direct with you here, because this matters. If you do not move, nothing changes. Time will pass, situation may shift, but the underlying pattern will remain the same. So take action, and the energy will shift. If you are honest with yourself, you already know that. So take one step, not everything at once, just one, because that is where real change begins. And I want to say something important here, because some of you are listening and thinking, I know what I need to do, but I'm still not doing it. That is not discipline, and this is not motivation problem. Remember, it's your subconscious mind, because when your conscious mind wants change, but your subconscious does not feel safe, you will hesitate, you will delay, and you will stay where you are, even when you genuinely want it so badly. And this is exactly where my work comes in. Through hypnosis and energy work, through the baggage begun method, we don't stay at the surface level of thinking. We go to the root cause of the problem, where those patterns were created. Sometimes it's from lifetimes ago, generations ago, and we begin to release the mental and emotional baggage that is still influencing your behavior today. I witness miracles. When what's weighing you down is no longer there, change happens easily and effortlessly. You begin to think more clearly, speak more directly. You feel like something shifted in your energy, and you no longer feel in the loop. Not because you're pushing yourself harder, but because your system is no longer holding the mental and emotional baggage that kept you stuck. And if you are in place, if you understand that you need it, please contact me. I would love to have a conversation with you and explain to you how you can dive deeper and change your life and have the transformation. So if you feel stuck, you cannot just override your subconscious mind. And that is why this work go deeper than surface level mindset, affirmation, therapy. You cannot override subconscious patterns with the logical words alone. Through hypnosis and subconscious work, we access the deeper level where these patterns were formed, and we begin to release and reprogram them in a way that feels safe to your system. This is where change becomes natural, not forced, and not temporary. That have a lasting effect. And if you are ready for that, you're welcome to reach out and explore working together. I would love to talk to you. You can just have the 30-minute complimentary call. I would love to talk to you. I hope this conversation helped you to understand that you no longer need to wait, and you will remember to take the action today. And I encourage you today to take the first action as if your last day. And at some point, you have to be honest with yourself. Is this the way you want to keep living? Or are you ready to let go and move forward? I want to thank you for being here today. As you move through your day, I want you to stay connected to what came up for you while listening. Not just the ideas, but the moments where something felt real and you know the actions that you need to take in order to move forward. And I hope that you're gonna be courageous to take the action to write your book, to start your business, to go after opening your heart and having the relationship, going traveling, going to the places, doing the things that you always wanted to do, and not stay stuck in the old patterns. Real freedom is not about controlling everything around you. It is about you taking the leap and having courage to do everything that you always wanted to do when it's not comfortable, when it's not the right time. Right now, it's the perfect time. That is what Baggage Begun Healing Hearts and Mind is really about. If this episode resonated with you, please make sure to follow the podcast, leave a review, and share it with someone who may need to hear this information. And if you're ready to go deeper to release the mental and emotional baggage at the root and create lasting change, you're always welcome to reach out and explore working together. I'm honored to be here with you. I'm honored that you're here. Thank you so much. Sending you so much love and light. This is Tami Mahmali. I'll see you next week. Thank you. Thank you for staying until the end. If you're curious and want to dive deeper, you are in the right space. I ask you to look within for all the things that you want to do, be, and have. Join me at the Baggage Begun Healing Hearts and Minds podcast with new episodes every Wednesday as we discover the path towards healing and transformation.